flashing, rubbers burning, hearts are clashing, tires screaming that southern heat, 200 strong on the NASCAR beat. Lap 5 wreck on turn 4, smoke so thick can't see the door, but somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame, every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride, made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall, 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame, every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride, made it through the other side. No checkered flag, no champagne rain, but I kept it clean through the carnage and pain. One more lap, one more breath, a dance with danger, a race with death. Still I thread the needle, feel the flame, every turn's a twist of fate's game. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, out of chaos into light, no first place, but man, I ride with fire still burning inside. Yeah, I thread the needle in this wild racing ride. Strapped in tight, green lights flashing, rubbers burning, hearts are clashing, tires screaming that southern heat, 200 strong on the NASCAR beat. Lap 5 wreck on turn 4, smoke so thick can't see the door, but somehow I slip right through like a ghost in red, white, and blue. 'Cause I thread the needle, dodge the flame, every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard through every fight. Got no wins, but I got pride, made it through the other side. Yellow flags like warning signs, but I ain't falling for their lines. Got nerves of steel, a shaky hand. This ain't a game, it's fight or land. Saw that 18 catch the wall, 21 spun, took out them all. But somehow I found the lane, like Moses through that fire and rain. Yeah, I thread the needle, dodge the flame, every pileup calling my name. Wrecks behind me, wrecks ahead, but I ain't wrecked, I ain't dead. Sliding sideways, holding tight, praying hard.
All right, folks, so here we go. And I'm not afraid to say it. Russ, we are in the booth tonight at Charlotte, the best duo, Racers Elite Network. We are bringing you Next Gen Racing here at Charlotte Motor Speedway at night. We're under the lights. We have a strong field tonight. Russ, welcome to round 2 here at Racers Elite at Charlotte.
Yeah, to be back in the booth with you here at Charlotte. It's going to be interesting tonight to see how these guys can handle this 1.5 mile track. Last week we saw a lot of guys struggling, with the old Atlanta track, and struggling with being loose and keeping that car up underneath them. But a little bit cooler track temp here tonight, and really haven't seen a lot of guys getting too much out of shape. But still, it's Charlotte. It's the home of the Coke 600, man. It's going to be a fun night.
If there has ever been a track that you could say, hey, it's American, right? And that's got to be Charlotte. You can see the red, white, and blue on the walls, on the outside walls. It's here at night. This is one of the favorite races that you really circle your calendar every year. I think as a driver, Russ, it's a little bit different track because it runs a bit different than most of your 1.5 miles. Tires do play a big part of this race. The line that you choose plays a big part. Tons of grip early. A lot of drivers, we're going to see some comers and goers as they run through this field, but man, we are going to have one heck of a round 2 here tonight.
Absolutely. Anytime a driver comes into Charlotte, the first thing that they think of is that this is one of those tracks that's kind of like a crown jewel to win at. Everybody wants to win at Charlotte, so somebody's going to get their chance here tonight, and I'm sure we'll see some fireworks along the way. It's going to be a fun ride, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's take a look here at where we are at in the points. You can see Truth Hope picking up that win last week. He is going to be in first place. Ed Jurgen, we had kind of an up and down night for Ed Jurgen. Couple of accidents there. We know Ed. We've seen Ed run a lot. And he had a great qualifying position last week. It looked like he had a super fast car, maybe pushing a little bit too hard, getting a little accidents, but he is going to be second there. Alex Gates coming in third in points, and I know we're going to have some Alex Gates fans out there in chat, as we always do. So really the top 3 kind of jam-packed, but as we always do, Russ, tonight, my friend, you have to pick, and I want to give you first pick, Russ. You've got to pick who you think this winner tonight's going to be. We see Andrew Teft really at the top of the board. Who do you have tonight? Who are you eyeballing tonight that you say can bring home that checkered flag?
Like you said, Andrew Teff currently sitting on the pole. He's always a really good pick. Truth Hope got it done last week at 1.5 miles, so you can't really, overlook him, even though he's sitting P11, during qualifying here. But one I'm going to keep my eye out on, and I think I'm going to take for the win tonight. I've seen him run these 1.5 mile tracks. He's really patient, really consistent. And when he's on, he's on. And that's that number 16 of Brandon Sanfilippo. I've watched him run quite a few 1.5 mile tracks. And it's one of them situations of if he is on, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. And, I'm going to take him as kind of like the underdog winner here tonight.
Well, I kind of feel like you took my pick a little bit. Because he has, I feel like Sanfilippo has really come on as we see him in the other series too. That's the Tuesday and Wednesday night. We've really seen him display a lot of patience, and I think patience is going to be the key tonight. I just really believe that it is going to happen. So I feel like maybe we might have, I don't know. I think Kinsley Smith in that 15 is going to be somebody to look out for. So, Russ, we're gonna pop this back to you. It looks like I have a couple of mic issues, so I'm going to see if I can fix that. And while I'm doing that, I want to let you take over here.
Kinsley Smith last week there at in Atlanta, he showed a lot of speed. Was up leading a lot of the race. Had a couple of incidents where coming out of turn 4, out of turn 2, get a little bit loose. Lose that track position. We've seen him, running guys down, run after that. And, just come the end of the race, it was just a little bit too little too late for Mr. Kinsley Smith there. But, definitely not a bad pick. The one thing I do want to mention is the driver currently sitting in P10, Ira Kohlhaas. We know Ira very, very well. And, it's really good to see Ira coming back out here on the track, and good to see him being competitive up there in the top 10 position.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that is going to be one of those things that we got to watch out for tonight, right? Is just Ira, some of those comers and goers. We're going to see that tonight. I can't wait to see what happens here at Charlotte. So we will get ourselves going, and it does look like we're going to do a couple of things to fix this. Mic issue. So what we're going to do, and we're going to see if we can pop up some of these drivers. It looks like they are going to start gridding up if we can get a hold of them. There we go. We've got a hold of them now, Russ, as we're going to see if we can bring these people here to green.
Yeah, looks like they're getting ready to go green here, or getting ready to get on the track. Trying to get my I'm starting to have a little bit of technical issues here. Give me 1 second here, John.
Yeah, they are going crazy, my friend. The technical issues are going crazy tonight.
I was just trying to get the starting lineup up on my screen and didn't want to do it. So it looks like Andrew Teff's going to grab your pole here. P1 running a 29.110. Brandon Sanfilippo there, my pick, qualifying P2. Kirby Wainscott's going to start in P3. Aaron Marquis in the 41. He's going to bring it to the line in P4. Paul Shaw is going to bring it to the line in P5. Then James McRae is going to start in 6th. Kensley Smith in 7th. Curtis Ecker 8th. Troy Thomas 9th. And then Ira Kohlhaas is going to round out that top 10. Truth Hope's going to start in P11 with Dennis Kane. P12. Alex Gason 13th. Haas Beverly. Jesse Fox. Alex Teff going to round out that top 16, and then Gary Bowman, Rob Yost Jr., Chris Pendell, Mike Fudge, Trevor going to round out the field without laying out a qualifying time.
Let me know if that did fix our issues. Hopefully, Russ, we've got that taken care of. As we're going to see if we can hide this right now, because we are going to go green. And we're going to pop up the tower right here. Now, Andrew Teft is going to bring these gentlemen over here to the green flag. So we have got 20 strong that are going to take the flag tonight. Andrew Teft with a great start here. Sanfilippo with a nice run, but it does look like we got a couple of guys, maybe a blinker right back there on the right-hand side that is in and out. That does look like that is Shaw, as it looks like they're going to filter out here going into turn 3.
Yeah, Andrew Teff getting a good jump there on the start. You see Sanfilippo still battling hard in that middle upper lane, trying to get P2. But Kirby got a really good, strong run on the bottom, coming out of 4. He's going to stay side by side with Brandon there.
We talked about this upper line a little bit earlier tonight, as it does look like now maybe Kirby getting a little pushy through that turn, but it does look like Sanfilippo is going to be able to get that pass done. That is a really good line. It will chew the tires up, Russ, so Sanfilippo's got to be careful, but we know that driver is certainly going to try to take care of those tires throughout tonight.
Absolutely. Charlotte's another one of those tracks that you can run that middle, you can run that top, but the bottom ultimately is going to be the line that's going to do the most saving on your tires. So it's one of those lines of, if you're going to run that middle, you're going to run that top. You want to get there, get that pass made, and get right back down to the bottom, try to save as much tire as you can.
Yeah, it does look like that was what he was able to do. Now, Andrew Teff still your leader. Sanfilippo is going to be in second, but right back here, Kirby Wainscott and Paul Smith are going to start arguing over third position, as now Paul in that 25 is going to start to look to the outside here of that 10 machine.
Yeah, he saw that Brandon there be able to make that pass on Kirby. Thought maybe he could do the same thing done, but it looks like Kirby kind of slid up and blocked that run there.
Through turn 3 they go. It looks like Kirby starting to sneak back into view of it looks like Sanfilippo, and Paul is falling back, as it does look like now James McRae taking a peek under Kinsley Smith here in that 15 machine. That is my pick for tonight in Kinsley Smith.
Yeah, that's one driver there you got to watch out for is James McRae. We've seen a lot of skill out of him in other leagues, and he's definitely shown a lot of speed. Again, just another one of them ones that sometimes gets bit by that bug of unfortunate situations, but that's another one you're going to have to watch out for there is James McRae in that 27.
Yeah, he is still underneath of Kinsley. Both of these drivers starting to argue over that position. It looks like that battle is going to happen for fifth. McRae has that bottom line. It looks like Kinsley on the outside has a really good run through that turn. And again, it just looks like, Russ, if you're trying to save tire, you know, arguing over position this early is really going to hurt you. But it does look like right now Andrew Teft out to about a 6/10 of a lead over Sanfilippo. You've got to think, if you're Teft, do I slow this down just a little bit, make sure I'm hitting those marks, because you know that 12 car is back there saving tire.
You know, Andrew's one of those types that, you know, he's always looking at the gauges. He's always looking at his fuel gauge. He's always getting a really good feel of those tires. He's one that can really save tire and save fuel really well when he wants to, but he pushes it when he needs to too. So it's one of those situations of get yourself out to a comfortable lead and then start maintaining that gap while saving tire and saving fuel.
Yeah, another driver on the move is this 55 car. He is up 3 positions right now, Russell. Truth Hogue working his way up front. Now looking underneath. Oh, that is going to be so close with him in the A car of Curtis Ecker. But he is now sliding underneath of Ecker. So it looks like this 55 machine of Truth Hogue, he has found something early on, starting to work his way up.
Last week, you know, at the old Atlanta, you know, that's a 1.5 mile track. Kind of similar to Charlotte, but it's got its own little demons. But, you know, Truth is never one to sleep on, especially at these 1.5 miles. He figures out how to get it done, but he's just the biggest thing with him is that tire saving. You know, he tends to push really, really hard at the beginning of a run and then falls back towards the end of a run because he eats those tires up so bad. But once he gets that figured out, and he's going to be a serious force to be reckoned with each and every single week that he is out on this track. But yeah, by having another good run up a couple positions at the start of this race, 10 laps in.
Yeah, Pendel, again, it looks like he is going to get by the Aaron Marquis in the 41. So Pendel, we talked about him a little bit earlier as well. I really feel like Pendel has a great pace. He can really drive that car hard early on fresh tires. We'll see what that speed in these long runs, because you know Racers Elite are known for those long runs. We'll see where he's at, but man, he is on the march forward as well.
Quite a bit of good speed out of him, you know, as of late too, even ending into the last season. So yeah, really another driver to kind of keep your watch on and see how he falls. But yeah, making his way up through the field too. A lot of comers and goers so far, John.
Yeah, it really does look that way now. It looks like Truth Hogue's going to get around Troy Thomas. He's going to be on the outside getting that pass done. So put Truth up one more position. I will tell you, it looks like Truth running that middle to high line, especially on exit. Looks like he's getting really close to that outside wall. That is not going to be good for him later on in this run. We'll see how these tires do, but he is on the march forward. Now we're going to go back up and take a look at your leader in Andrew Teft. Andrew still out now to 8/10 of a lead over Sanfilippo, one of the more patient drivers that we have here in Racers Elite. Man, and Kirby Wainscott still holding on to third, so he is having a great run as well.
Right now, you know, closing in on 9/10 and picking up over Brandon Sanfilippo. But you know, like I said, you know, you set that pace, then you set your own tone, then you can kind of manage that gap a little bit. But one that I've noticed there is that 27 of James McRae. He's working into him at E5.
Yeah, McRae up a position from where he started, working his way forward. It does look like Kinsley Smith was able to get back around him. You remember they had that early little arm wrestle there where Kinsley was able to hang on to the outside. Now Kinsley is up 3 positions all over the back end of Kirby Wainscott here. So we're going to see how Kinsley Smith is going to do, is now taking a peek underneath of this 10 car.
Yeah, looking to move his way even more forward. Looks like Kirby kind of got a little high through the entry of turn 2 there, but yeah, I mean, Kirby's oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Kinsley is looking to work his way forward.
Let's go on board with Kinsley. Let's take a look at what he is seeing. 191, it looks like, down the front stretch there, Russ. As again, one of those things that you find in these next gens, really any of these cars, especially here at Charlotte, is going to be really getting that draft. Oh, and now you can see he's going to turn James McRae. While we are on board, it is the broadcaster's curse. Now he is going to pick up damage with another car. Oh my goodness. Let's go back and take a look, Russ, at what happened here. And we're going to back this up just a little bit.
From Atlanta last week?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so here it goes. Kinsley is coming up. It looks like he's trying to get a little... Oh, he's just going to get the quarter panel. He just comes up too much. It doesn't look like James turns at all. Kinsley's going to just turn him here down the straight. We're going to back that up just a little bit more. And just take one more look at this.
I'm not sure if Kinsley was trying to maybe side draft the 27 just a little bit, but got too close and kind of got sucked up into him, or...
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like he was trying to side draft him and got up there, got into his quarter panel, spun him around. McRae having a great run there on the outside of Kinsley, and that is going to turn Kinsley. That is certainly going to be a fast repair. Hard damage to the right front of that car. Curtis Ecker getting involved in that with McRae. Man, just one of those things where you're just trying to side draft. Man, you can see that wheel just hard right. That is a broken toe link. That 15 machine is going to come in. That is my pick for tonight. And it does look like he is going to have to get his fast repair done. Andrew Teft is in. It looks like all of these drivers, every single driver out here on the track coming in to get some tires, get some fuel, reset this thing, as we are going to probably go back green here, Russ, about 21 laps into a 105-lap race.
Yeah, those frustration shoes are going to be key here tonight. So not really surprised 18 laps in to see everybody come down, get some fresh Goodyear rubbers on their cars.
Yeah, normally we have 5 sets, so that'll be 4 sets over the wall. So you have the set that you start with, then you're going to have 4 over the wall. 20 laps in, that is a good idea to come down and get some fresh tires. It did look like Sanfilippo was starting to gain a bit on Andrew Teft earlier on, like on the back end of that 18-lap, 16-lap run, before we seen that wreck happen there with McRae. Kirby Wainscott with a fantastic run tonight. Curtis Ecker, that got a little bit of damage earlier in that wreck, looks like he is going to stay out, probably get some of that repaired, get himself back out here in 4th. Paul Shaw is going to be in 5th. Chris Pindell, we talked about him a bit earlier, Russ, working his way up here to 6th, and that is up 13 positions from where he started.
Truth right behind him, too. I mean, Truth started a little bit further back, too, so Truth working his way up through the field tonight.
Yeah, Truth is up about 4 positions. Your biggest mover right now is going to be Pindell in that 94 machine, as it does look like now we are going to rack them and stack them side by side. You can see those lights out here on that pace truck. We are going to bring these drivers back green this time around. Andrew Teft leading every single lap of this thing already, and early on in this race, Sanfilippo is going to be on the outside. Kirby and Curtis Ecker are going to be side by side here as they come down the backstretch, but you could just see, it seems like with that tight side draft, McRae and Kinsley Smith, Russ, it seems like everybody's going to start arguing over the same square footage on this track.
Yeah, and really, it's still kind of early yet. I mean, we got 105 laps here tonight. We're coming back to green at lap 20. I mean, there's still plenty of time to be able to make spots up. I mean, these guys are race car drivers. I mean, there's, sometimes there's no patience. You just want to go, and you want to go now.
Yeah, June is out there in chat saying, this mama is not happy. How dare they spin him around like that? Yeah, I will tell you, June, I know Kinsley very well. We've raced around him. That is just a miscue by that driver, man, we are so happy to have McRae back here racing his now that 98 machine is going to bring them down. What a fantastic start by him. Kirby Wainscott's going to get a good start, too. He is going to be down there on the bottom of this track. Sanfilippo is going to carry some momentum Kirby's going to be even, but watch this speed down the straightaway. Sanfilippo now having all of the momentum. He looks like he is very, very sporty on this restart.
Yeah, he's trying to squeeze himself down there in front of that 10, but not quite clear enough to do it. Andrew's going to start trying to look at checking out here now.
Yeah, and it does look like Sanfilippo was not able to get down. Kirby-Wainscott is probably going to take that spot over. Now, Curtis Ecker is going to look to steamroll, start steamrolling this 12 machine. I do believe on exit, you're going to see the 12. Yes, he is able to get slotted in there in third. So that top line really not getting the starts that you want to see here in this next gen at Charlotte. It looks like that bottom line is certainly the preferred line here for about a lap to 2 laps.
Yeah, for sure. On the initial start and then this restart, that outside line it can kind of hold for a little bit, but eventually that bottom line comes in just right, and you got to get down. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Mr. Two Tires, Mr. Late in the game, Alex Teft looks like he is fighting early on. He's going to get underneath of Shaw with Gates right behind him. Shaw is going to touch the wall. No harm, no foul. It doesn't look like that slowed him down a bit, but now Teft is going to shoot down to the bottom. This top line is a viable line if you want to defend. You just have to pick and choose, Russ, the spots that you want to defend and how much tire you want to burn up defending them.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said earlier, running that high side for too long is going to burn a lot more of that rubber off than being on the bottom. So, you got to pick that right time to choose when to defend and when to just concede, get back in line, try to get that spot back later on in the race.
Yeah, and it really all depends on where these drivers want to go. Let's see if we can ride on board with Pendel, because you have to, some of these drivers are going to shift. You can see Pendel's going to stay in fifth. It doesn't look like he is shifting. And I just think that's a bad idea because, in my opinion, Russ, in this next gen, it puts a ton of pressure on that right front tire, really makes those cars pushy throughout this extended stint of run. And it does look like Sanfilippo, he's going to stick in fifth as well. You will see some of these drivers shifting down and forth to get better rotation in the center of the turn, a better exit, and keep that right front tire on.
Yeah, I mean, the later each run goes on, you start getting more and more wear in that tire. You're going to start seeing these guys downshifting a little bit just to help with that rotation, like you said, because the car is going to get pushy to the center of the corner, and you need that any kind of help that you can get to get that car rotated. And a lot of these guys will start downshifting.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. As you can see now, Sanfilippo, let's see if we can get back to this TV version. He is still on the low line. Pendel still on the outside, trying to get this pass done here. Pendel's going to get extremely tight on the exit of 4. He's probably still maintaining that momentum. He might be able to get this pass done here on the exit of 2.
And don't look now, but here comes that 55 of Truth Hope, just looking for one of these guys to make some kind of a mistake.
Yeah, you talked about that a little bit earlier. Hoke is now up 5 positions, looking for number 6 from whatever that starting position was. He is all over that 12 machine. That 12, it looks like he's going to do what he normally does, which is try to save some tire rust. But, man, I don't know. It looks like maybe we're giving up a little bit too much track position here.
Yeah, it could be, but, like I said, we still got quite a bit of this race left to go. But, I've seen this time and time again out of Brandon where he'll give up a few positions to save that extra tire, and then 20 laps into a run, we'll start seeing him gain those positions right back again.
Yeah, and we're going to see that because here at Charlotte, you can be upwards of 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster by the end of these green flag runs if you save those tires. So it does look like Sanfilippo deciding to nail that bottom line. He's right against that blue and white line. It looks like Pendel's running that midline. Curtis Ecker up here, Kirby-Wainscott, all of these drivers fighting for this position is now Curtis Ecker looking very, very sporty tonight in that 8 machine, going after Kirby-Wainscott.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed this restart, Andrew really hasn't been able to stretch out much of a lead. Now, we don't know, if he's trying to do that, the maintain, or if these guys have just gotten that much faster since this restart. But he hasn't been able to check out. But here comes Curtis Ecker and Chris Pindell on the outside of Kirby Wainscott looking for 2 and 3.
Yeah, it does look like maybe Kirby burped the throttle a bit, but now Pindell, he is going after 2. He wants 2 for 1 in one single lap, so he is now down on the bottom side here of Curtis Eckert. And it does look like he's going to have that preferred line. That outside line might start to get a bit pushy. Curtis with a grand run off of the exit of 2 is going to hold on to that position. So now Pindell is in the wall. Man, we have a shootout up here at the front of this pack.
Yeah, Andrew Justin just kind of looking forward at this point, saying, you guys just keep doing what you're doing. I'm just going to kind of stretch this out a little bit.
Here you go, this driver that you were talking about a bit earlier. This is your point leader in this next gen series of Truth Hoke in that 55 machine. Picking up another position, getting by Sanfilippo in that 12. Sanfilippo now taking a look back underneath of Hoke. He's not going to get that done. Hoke is going to close that door, start working his way up to Wainscott. So it does look like now is about the time with 33 laps in. We went back green at, 20 laps? So we got 13 laps on these tires. This seems like the time, Russ, you're going to start to see that wear come in. Those that have abused them and those that have saved them.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually right around 12, between the 12 to 15 lap margin is where you start really noticing the fall off from the guys who have really kind of been pushing it hard versus the guys who have been kind of saving. So, I mean, I said it at the beginning. Last week, mile and a half, Truth Hoke was the winner. And here he is fighting his way back up towards the front here tonight.
Man, he is all over the back end of Kirby. It looks like Ecker is starting to work his way up the top of the track, starting to run that high line here in that next gen. That will work. I don't know how long it's going to work, but from a tire saving standpoint, we know that's probably not going to be the fastest line around this track. Now, Hoke all over the back end of Wainscott, and we've got Alex Gates all over the back end of Alex Teft. Right back here in that 77 and that 43 machine. They're going to start battling. Now, Alex Gates is going to get to that high side. That is your third place driver there in the points early on in this season, as all of these drivers still trying to track down Andrew Teft in that 98 machine.
Yeah, we kind of see guys, trying to figure out what's the faster line right now. You see guys trying to work the top. You see them working the bottom. You see them moving from top to bottom. So, they're obviously trying to search for something to figure out a way to run this 98 car down.
Yeah, Andrew, really sticking to the bottom of the track. It does look like he is starting to get some momentum pass now, up about half a second on these drivers behind him. So he is moving his way forward, really securing those tires. He's got the clean air, Russ. On that nose of that car, it really helps these next gens turn. He's got it. He wants to keep it. Unless you've got somebody that is saving tire, it does look like Ecker has moved his way up the track. Pindell following in his tire tracks. He is up the track. It does look like maybe Hoke, still running that bottom, has an opportunity to move his way forward.
Yeah, he's currently looking to try to get underneath Kirby Wainscott in that 10 there, try to take over P4.
Not quite able to get underneath of him here going into 1. Now, Alex Teft is underneath the Sanfilippo, and it looks like that 12 car continuing to fall back. Pindell getting that right rear quarter panel up into the walls. You saw those sparks a little bit earlier. Now, Hoke working the back end of the 10. It looks like, Russ, the 10 throwing a bit of dirty air on him.
Yeah, it would appear that looks like that's exactly what he's trying to do. Throw that dirty air on him, trying to slow him down just a little bit. But, going back to the 94, you see him get into the wall there a couple times. I think his tires have started to potentially start to wear enough where he's getting really, really tight on quarter exit, because I've seen him kind of catch that quarter panel on the wall about 3 or 4 different times now.
Yeah, it does look like Ecker might be running Teft down again, as we could potentially have a battle for the lead here very soon. Only 0.3 of a second are going to separate these two. Ecker deciding to take that outside line. He's running that midline. Gives him a really good, strong exit of that turn. Pendel starting to fall back a bit, but now we are going to heat up for a battle here for the lead. Ecker in that 8 machine tracking down this 98 ever so slightly. It was about 0.5, now down to below 0.3 at 0.27.
Sure, what kind of a fuel run that these guys are getting right now, but we're just completed 20 laps since going back to green. So the other thing you have to keep kind of in the back of your mind is green flag pit stop. When do we expect to see these guys come back down pit road and try to get some fresh rubber on their cars?
Yeah, that's a really good point. When are we going to see these pit stops now? We are not quite halfway. They come down at lap 18. They got fuel and tires, so we know that they're probably going to two-stop this race. So they're going to split this thing and say, hey, so if we go back at 20, that's going to give them what? If I do quick math, 85 laps, so we're looking at 42, 43. So I would think if they could make that, Russ, you probably have a good 20 more laps worth of tires here that they are going to try to manage. Truth Hope now continuing to be on the march. He is going to work his way back underneath the Kirby again. We saw him working this earlier on. Now back at it. I think he's going to get this done as he's going to do a little slide job right up on the exit of 2, and he's going to take that spot over. So move him up to 4th.
Yeah, I mean, we're 23 laps into this run, and Truth is still marching his way forward. Like I said, this is where you're really going to notice the guys who have saved and the guys who haven't been saving. Because, it's like you said, if we're going to split this into a two-stop race, they got to go, another 16 laps or so before they start thinking about making pit stops. If they got enough fuel to go that far, you're going to start seeing a lot of these guys who have been abusing those tires really start to fall off.
Yeah, and, I will tell you, have you ever seen such close racing all over the track? These drivers nose to tail. There is Paul. Paul had a great qualifying effort. Gary Bowman is right there. It looks like Paul is going to be on the outside of Gary, looking to get that done. Dennis Kane, really fast car there in that number 4 machine. He had got into that earlier incident, starting to work his way back up now. So all over the track, you can see racing as Paul looks like he's going to make that pass.
That's one of the things about being here at Races Elite. You get a lot of these drivers that, they race each other multiple times a week. So they're very, very comfortable with racing each other out here on these, on the tracks and stuff. So, it's not really surprising at all for me to see these guys fighting, all throughout the field, because they have a really good comfortability level with racing each other.
All right, so Bowman is going to slide back a spot. Looks like up front, we still have Teft and Ecker. They are tied together. And Pendel starting to fall back a bit here in 3rd. You can see that is about a second gap, about 0.9 of a gap. But here comes Truth Hoke. He is still on that march forward. Very interested to see some of these tire savers. It looks like Alex Teff saved those tires very well. Now Sanfilippo coming back, looking underneath of Kirby Wainscott. So let's see what this tire saver has been able to do. But I just feel like, Russ, that high line is a great protective line here at Charlotte. Maybe this isn't the track where you save tires at a high degree, because that passing is just too difficult.
Yeah, you get that dirty air on your nose, and it makes it really hard to pass. And normally we see that kind of a thing like out of an Indianapolis, where the guys were just running the Brickyard 400 and NIS, and passing was at a premium. Usually, we see a lot of really good battles at tracks like Charlotte and, stuff like that. But, it really seems like it's kind of tough to make passes here tonight just because of that aero blocking. I mean, we've seen the 10. I've been watching the 10 car. He's been kind of dropping multiple spots a lap. So, not really sure if that's a tire issue or if it's because he's kind of stuck in some dirty air at certain points. But, yeah, definitely making a difference here tonight.
Yeah, it does look like Sanfilippo is back down on the bottom of the track trying to get around Wainscott. can't quite make that pass get done as they're going to get super tight. And it does look like right in front of them, Alex Gage trying to get around to Alex Teft. And I believe, Russ, he's going to be able to get this pass done as now he is starting to carry a lot of momentum on the top part of this track. And now you can see he is one of the faster drivers. It's not going to be long before he's going to start challenging Truth for that 4th position. As again, your top 2 knotted up here. About 3/10 is going to separate these 2 drivers. And they are starting to pull away from the rest of this field.
Impressed here tonight with Curtis Ecker. I mean, being able to get up there and run with Andrew and stay with him for over the duration of this run. This is one guy I know he is hungry to get a win here in the next gen series, and he's showing that he's got a shot at it tonight.
Yeah, he's really always been a hungry driver, always shown a lot of speed. You just want the chips to fall in his way at some race or another, and that might be tonight, as it looks like he is matching the speed here of Teft even on these older tires. So he is certainly one to be reckoned with. And sometimes these things are going to boil down to, you know, how you get on pit road, how you get off of pit road, what you choose to do. And I feel like I'm just going to go on board here with Teft. I hear something going crazy. Is he clutching this thing in the entry of these turns? And he is, Russ. He is saving fuel on the entry of these turns.
Yeah, he is definitely clutching that thing on the entry, trying to save just as much, whatever kind of fuel he can. So it must be that it must be a stretch to try to make it with one more stop, and that's exactly what he's trying to do.
Let's go back and take a listen to Ecker and see if he even cares about that. It sounds like he is already shifting, Russ. So I don't think he is saving fuel at all. No, he is downshifting. He is getting after it. Alex or Andrew Teft deciding to clutch that thing and save fuel while pulling away from the rest of this field. So it looks like Andrew has some sort of game plan. We should see some of these drivers coming in here pretty soon. I would say within 10 laps to get some pit stops completed.
Yeah, like I said, when I see Andrew clutching, that's telling me that he was trying to do this on one more stop. You know, we talked about it. You know, if you split that 85 lap gap from the time that we restarted to the end of this race, if it goes green, you know, to make one more stop, it was going to be around the 40 to 42 lap mark. You know, maybe that's really cutting it close. And, you know, so Andrew's trying to save to make that happen, where some of these guys who aren't trying to save fuel, they might have to still make 2 stops.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And we'll see what will happen to Ecker as he is continuing to hold serve. It looks like they're just trading quicker lap times as now Sanfilippo in that 12 machine working his way up. Truth Hoke, we saw him earlier working up. He is now starting to fall back. So the 12 car on the march forward. Alex Gates is going to take over that 4th position. And it does look like some of these tire savers, Russ, starting to work their way forward. The 43 of Alex Teft is starting to work back on to Alex or Alex Gates, because it looked like Alex passed him about 10 laps ago.
Yeah, Alex had a really good, or Alex Gates had a really strong run. He was running that top side, and he was making passes. Looks like Alex Teft is starting to try to make some passes himself as he's worked his way up to P5. So really strong runs here in the latter end of a fuel run by both of the Alexes here.
Yeah, all of these drivers about 2.25 seconds behind. You can see Andrew Teft just jumping out of your screen right in front of us. He is about 2.5 seconds in front of these drivers. Now, I don't think they're losing any time. So if I look back, it looks like Sanfilippo ran a 28 to Teft's 24. But remember, Teft is sitting back saving fuel while he is getting this thing done. So we will see what happens when these pit stops go. Now, when we come across the start-finish line, Russ, 45 laps will remain in this race.
I'm probably figuring on any time within the next 3 to 5 laps, we might be starting to see some guys dip down to pit road. Some may go try to be able to stretch it a little bit longer, but I would say, yeah, anywhere between that 40 to 45 to go is about where I would start seeing guys coming down pit road, I think.
Looks like Sanfilippo dropped down to the bottom in 3 and 4 to try to get a better turn. He had to stay off of that. He might be in the wall. He's barely going to scrub that wall, as now Alex Teft underneath of that 77 machine. We saw him saving tires earlier, started to work his way back to the 77. He is underneath, trying to get this pass done here for fourth.
Work his way back up through the field still, and still making good time up, getting down on the inside of Alex Gates there, but here comes Brandon Sanfilippo again, looking underneath the 77 too.
Yeah, I think both of these drivers being side by side, is now he's going to try to do a 2-for-1. I don't think he's going to get the first one done. And it does look like he is going to tuck back in line here behind Alex Gates in that 77. But the 43 was able to get the pass done. He's going to move into fourth. And now that is your first one. Christopher Pindell in the 94 machine is going to come down pit road to get service completed. Russ, that looks like to be about 43 laps here to the finish. Not sure if that driver can make that.
Well, you figure we're on lap 62 right now. We went back to green at 40, so it's been, or at lap 20, so it's been 42 laps. So that's a pretty even split to the end of the race. So yeah, we're gonna see if there's gonna be a fuel issue towards the end of this thing, or see a bunch more coming down pit road now, Don.
Yeah, it does look like a ton of drivers are going to decide to come down pit road. We looked at Andrew. He is going to stay out. He was clutching this thing earlier. So what he is probably going to be able to do, Russ, is I would think he could come down and get fuel and not have to worry about clutching or saving any type of gas at all. He can come down and get that service completed, as now we show Aaron Marquis as crashed. So let's go back and take a look at the 41, and this is going to be off of pit road. Yeah, he's just going to blink out. Oh, there he goes. Just hits those bumps on the exit of pit road, and that is going to spin him around. Man, that is just terrible, because that's going to cost you probably about 2.5 seconds here.
Yeah, or more. That's never anything good you want to have happen to you.
Andrew Teft down pit road. Now, let's go back and take a look at what's going to happen when we cycle all of this out. Curtis Ecker, he decided to come down a bit earlier. Now, we're going to go on board with him because I can hear him clutching as well on the entry of these turns. I do believe he is going to be able to pick up. Now, you can see the 98 coming out right now. So he is going to come out with a pretty substantial lead here, Russ. About 2 seconds, maybe 2.3 seconds, when this thing's all said and done. And there's your clutching action right there.
So he's just trying to save just a little bit of fuel, so it must be a really close run to the end without fuel here.
Yeah, 2.5 seconds is going to be the gap back to Andrew Teft. I'm sorry, to Alex Teft. Now, Alex is going to get out in front of Andrew. So you're going to have Alex at the 43. He's going to be second. Andrew is going to be third. Kinsley Smith now has worked his way all the way back up to fourth. Alex Gates in fifth. And then James McRae is going to be sitting right there in sixth. So, and I hear all of these drivers might be clutching. Let's go on board here with Alex in the 43 machine. No clutching there, Russ. Maybe into 3.
It sounded like Curtis Becker was only clutching in 3 and 4, so see what happens here.
You see Curtis out there in front. He is deciding to enter these turns extremely high, right up against the wall. As you can see him right here in front of Alex Teft. And then starting to cut that down. He is right up against the fence there, coming down. So it looks like he has decided to stick that thing on that top side and see what happens. These drivers here in the 43 and the 98 both look like they are catching Curtis Ecker at a pretty good pace.
That lead is down to a 1.7 second lead. So it went from 2.3 to 1.7 in a matter of a couple of laps.
Let's go back and take a look at this area right here, because it does look like Bowman, Paul Shaw. Who else do we have in this mix? The 81 machine. Jesse Fox is right there. Ira, Troy Thomas, Jesse Fox, all in this big group fighting over these positions. Now, that is probably about 11th all the way back through the 14th position, 15th position. Oh, Jesse going to get extremely tight there on the exit of 4. He's going to be able to keep that car off of the wall. But now Paul getting that pass done there on Gary Bowman. Gary's going to slide back. He's going to be in 15th.
Off around Jesse there and move himself up another spot. Again, really good to see Ira back on the track again. I know he took some time off. He has some things going on, and really good to see Ira back on the track again.
Yeah, Ira's doing a fantastic job. He is that white machine with the black roof there, that 81 car, having a fantastic show so far. Now, he is going to start tracking down, or attempt to track down, Troy Thomas. Troy is in the 11th position. Truth Hoke is a couple of seconds up on these two drivers for that 10th spot. And man, it does look like Truth Hoke, he's going to be in 10th right now. He is kind of in no man's land. You kind of expect to see this 94 machine here of Pendell. He was running 3rd for so long earlier prior to this pit stop, Russ. He was the first one to come down, continuing to slide back here, now in 9th.
Yeah, I see it after he came down pit road. He kind of came back out in a couple positions farther back than where he came in. I wonder if he had an issue on pit road or something, and now the car's just not handling to his liking. But yeah, had a great run going in the first half of this race, and now starting to slide back just a little bit.
Yeah, he is all over the back end here of Dennis Kane now. So it does look like hopefully he is starting to work his way forward. But as we go back up, we're going to check out this battle for the lead, because now Curtis Ecker coming out of that pit stop in first, deciding to take that high line all the way around this track, even early on those tires. Now in a battle with Andrew Teft. He is the gentleman that has been leading the majority of this race. He is going to stick down to the bottom here. He's going to try to get around Curtis. We heard Curtis clutching that car to try to make sure that he was going to have enough fuel for the end of this run. I do believe Teft is not going to have a problem with that thing. So looks like this might be a 3-way battle here for your lead.
I don't know if running the top side there was was a good choice by Curtis. I mean, Andrew, and they ran him down from 1.7 seconds. They ran him down to battling for the lead here in a matter of less than 10 laps. So that top side was really not working in Curtis's favor, and Andrew getting that move done, moving back to P1.
Yeah, put him back up to the leader position now. Alex Teft is going to start eyeballing that 8 machine. Alex allowing or having being passed by that 98. It looks like, Russ, he wasn't really that far off in pace, because he is starting to run back down this 8 machine, not too terribly far off of Andrew Teft, but I can still hear Curtis Ecker hitting that clutch in 3 and 4. So he, even though he come down about a lap, maybe a lap, 2 laps sooner than the 98, he has to save some fuel here, or he's not going to make that thing. As now we are looking at 77 laps here of 105 being completed when they cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I was just thinking about is maybe he's trying to clutch to ensure he's got enough fuel just in case there happens to be a green-white-checker. But I mean, this long of a fuel run, or this long of a green flag run, you kind of got to put that idea behind you. So not sure if that's what he's doing or that's what he has in mind, but at this point, you got to expect this thing to go green the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. I would assume that this thing is going to go green. As now there's a little slide job happening here by the 43. Slide up right in front of that 8 machine. Now, you got to look back here to McRae, because McRae's about 3 seconds behind your leader. And it looks like Teft is going to take out to about a 7/10 of a lead in front of his brother there in Alex. But McRae is starting to lurk, searching for a little bit of speed, and it looks like that last lap a bit quicker than your leader. So maybe we've got a battle on our hands here. We got about 30 laps left to go in this race.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really count any of these guys out. I mean, anything can happen in this, in this last 28 laps or so that we got left in this race. But I mean, right now the gap is about 2.9 for James McRae behind the leader, and maybe if this thing stays green, it might be a little bit too late, too little, too late. But again, we never know what's going to happen with these things.
You never know what's going to happen. Now Pindell still battling with Dennis Kane. This is going to be an argument here over the 8th position. Kane has it. Pindell wants it in that 94 machine. Looks like Pindell really working the bottom of that track about center off. But he is getting a bit pushy on the exit of these turns. Probably a bit of dirty air. Both of these drivers starting to run down Kirby Wainscott in that 10 right in front of them. So Wainscott is 7th. You've got here the 4 car in 8th, and then Pindell there in 9th. Now, not too far in front of you, you can see that on the left-hand side of your screen is Alex Gates. He is sliding back here, currently into the 6th position.
Yeah, sorry, Jim. I was kind of really watching that 94. It just seems like he's getting really tight on exit more than some others. I'm not sure if he's really having to crank that wheel to get that car to rotate, and it's really burning them tires. You see him get tight again right there. If his tires are burning up because he's having to put a lot more wheel into that car or what. But I mean, I know I've seen that 94 get in the wall more than just about anybody else out there tonight.
Yeah, 25 laps to go, and it is brutal, Russ. Like, once you get into Charlotte, and now he's going to get into the wall, so this is going to get progressively worse for the 94. It's brutal in the next gen. When you start to get a push in that right front, it's all about being able to manage the heat in that tire, and he's not going to be able to do that by running mid to high line. He's going to have to just back off his entry, try to cool that right front tire down, but it's so hard to do in the next gen, and it just seems like at Charlotte, it just becomes worse and worse and worse. But we have that conversation, Russ, but this race right here for your lead isn't over. Alex Teft finding some magic here. The 98 machine is in front of him by about a half a second, but this Alex Teft in the 43 not allowing that 98 to get away.
Yeah, he's got his brother in his sights, and just trying to figure out a way to get up there and get himself around there. I mean, we got down to 22 to go, and we're not anticipating anybody having to come back down pit road, but you got to figure out how to get it done on the track right now, and he's trying to figure that out.
0.5 of a second is going to separate your first and second position. That is Andrew Teft leading. That is the 43 machine of Alex Teft. He is right there in second position. We've got some other battles all across this track. Chris Pindell still fighting here with Dennis Kane and Kirby Wainscott. This is your tightest battle on the track with 21 laps to go. Now, once they cross that start-finish line, now 20 laps to go. Can Pindell find a way to cool that right front enough to get around this 4 machine? But, man, it looks like the 4 running a fantastic line here.
Yeah, just kind of holding that bottom really strong, working his way up the track on corner exit, kind of throwing, again, just a little bit of an aero block on that 94 car, keeping him at bay in the back there. But 94 is just trying to figure out how to cool that tire off, get himself a better run off of the corner, get that car to rotate a little bit better.
Yeah, and who has become defensive has now become aggressive. Underneath of that 10 machine, the 4 car goes. Chris Pindell looking to follow him. Wainscott's going to give up that position. No, he is going to fight back on the outside. So 20 laps to go. Dennis Kane fighting for his life there. Pindell all over the back of him has now decided to go offensive. He believes he's going to get this pass done. He is going to slide right up in front of Kirby Wainscott. So put the 4 car up to 7.
Got Dennis Kane with a really aggressive move on the bottom side of Kirby Wainscott there, moving himself up another spot. The one thing I've been noticing is that 98 car out in front started to stretch this lead out just a little bit farther too.
Yeah, you're right, Russ. 0.8 of a second is now going to separate your two Teft brothers. Andrew Teft out front, 0.8 of a second back is Alex Teft. Now Chris Pindell working on the back end of the 10 as the 10 now starting to slow down. That right front really hurting. Dennis Kane looks like he is on the march forward here, Russ. He is all over and starting to work the back end of this 77. So Alex Gates kind of settling in, now under fire here from this 4 machine. He is working his way forward.
Yeah, it looks like Dennis might have found something here in the later stages of this race because he is definitely closing in on Alex. Again, Alex kind of running that mid to upper lane through these corners, kind of like what Curtis Ecker did. And, you know, Dennis is just holding that bottom and really getting the car to rotate well through the center of the corner, looking to really close that gap.
All right, so we're going to go right back up here. Ecker still up there on that high line. Now McRae has run him down. We thought that might happen, and here he is underneath of Ecker. I'm not sure the A car can do a whole lot as he is still trying to save some fuel. He is going to allow that pass to happen, so McRae is now going to be up in a podium position, put him up in the third. Now he's about 4 seconds behind your leader, but man, he has a fantastic run going on, and I know that June out there is going to be extremely happy having that wreck earlier, bouncing back here to run third.
Yeah, I mean, we said it before. You know, we know James outside of Races Elite. We know what kind of a contender he can be, and you know, getting involved in that wreck early on, you know, in this race hasn't slowed him down at all. He's working his way back up to P3, having a great run tonight.
Dennis Kane making that pass there on the 77. The 77 still fighting for that position there on the outside. Man, he has a really good pace on the high line here, but man, that bottom line, once those tires start to get some wear in them, now Dennis has to look at that Kinsley Smith car there in the 15, thinking, can I get there? I've got 15 to go. Can I make it in time here, Russ?
I mean, he's got about just about a half a second, 0.6 of a second behind to get to him. You know, he might have a shot at getting him. And then he tried to set his sights on Curtis Ecker there in that number 8, but not quite sure he can get there. But he might be able to get himself up in the top 5 by the time this race is over with.
Yeah, right now he is sitting in that 6th position. Back underneath of the 77 is Kirby Wainscott in the 10. So Kirby, it looks like Alex is starting to fall backwards now. Tire wear becoming an issue for the 77. Pindell right behind Wayne Scott. And there he is. He's going to slide right up in front of the 77. He's going to get that passed on going into turn 3. Now Pindell's going to start working on Gates. The big question becomes here, how are we doing on fuel? Up front, there he is. The man that has led the most laps tonight, been extremely dominant, the 98 machine. Now Teft, the brother, Alex, there behind in the 43. Only 0.7 of a second. 12 laps to go here, Russ. Do they have enough fuel to stay wide open? Do they have to save? And can this 43 machine make a charge here late in this race?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen, Andrew have, about 0.9 of a second lead over his brother. And then, Alex was able to get a little bit of that back. We see him falling back again, just right around that 0.9 of a second. So it's going to be close, but man, yeah, if the fuel holds up, it's going to be tough, I think, for anybody to get by that 98 tonight. But
yeah, I agree with you completely. He has been on a mission tonight, starting from your pole, leading the most laps, being the most dominant car. Now the 94 underneath of Gates, as Gates is continuing to fall back now. Pindell having enough tire to get that thing done, but right up in front of them, we have a 3-way battle here. They have caught Kinsley Smith, Dennis Kane underneath of Wayne Scott. Now, Wayne Scott, we saw, it looked like earlier on falling back, but now he is just shot out of a cannon. He is going to get around Kane and get around Kinsley Smith, shoot himself back up to the 5th position, and man, he might just set sail here.
Yeah, that was an outstanding move by Kirby Wayscott, just throwing that thing, throwing caution to the wind, slinging it to the outside, getting that 2 for 1, and now he is starting to check out from Kinsley Smith and Dennis Kane.
9 laps to go in this race. It does not look like that difference in first and second has changed at all. Now it does look like Pindell deciding to go to the outside. Dennis Kane was on the march earlier on. He's starting to fall back now, as now Pindell looking to the outside of him. Let's see what this run is going to do. Both of these, Kinsley Smith is going to get in the wall and get down to the apron. He's going to pop back on. Kinsley's going to lose 2 spots here, as Pindell and Kane still fighting over that 6th position.
Yeah, I think Pindell saw what that move that the 10 did and thought, okay, now I'm going to try it and see what happens. And got the 1. Now he's trying to get around Dennis Kane. Looks like he's going to get him cleared. He's going to do the same thing, pass them both on the outside.
Man, Pindell picking up a couple of additional spots. He is on the way forward now in 6th position. It looks like Wayne Scott moving away from these drivers.
Maybe starting to run down Curtis Ecker there for P4.
He really is. Let's see if we can go. And there is the battle there for P4. Ecker trying to hold on, taking that earlier pit stop. I believe I can still hear him clutching that car, trying to save some fuel. Wayne Scott has found something on this high line, and it won't be long here with 6 laps to go that Pindell is going to be all over Ecker. So Ecker sliding backwards. But, man, I just don't think they've got enough to come anywhere close to these top 3, and that is Andrew, Alex, and James McCray. They are about 3 seconds ahead of all of these drivers.
Yeah, we got James McCray. He's about, 4 seconds behind second place, and Alex Stepp, and you've got about 3.5 seconds back to Kirby Wayne Scott. So McCray's kind of like in a world of his own right there in the middle for P3, but I mean, Kirby is coming. He is trying to make that charge, but not sure he's got enough time to get there.
No, but he found something really late and saved those tires and is up high. He is turning this thing up. Curtis Ecker doing the best he can to stay in that draft and stay tight to Kirby. As now Kirby's going to get extremely tight, get a little in the wall. That is actually going to pull Curtis Ecker back a bit. But Pindell is right behind these drivers. He is running that fence. And, I mean, you can just look at him. You can't fit a paper between him and that outside retaining wall there, Russ. He is finding a ton of speed later on in this race.
Absolutely. He got get right up there on that wall. I mean, sometimes you can kind of get like a little bit of drafting help if you get close enough to that wall. Maybe he was like, all right, I've been into this thing enough tonight. I'm just going to ride it for the rest of this race. And it's kind of helping him out.
3 laps to go. Here is your battle. This is going to be for your 5th position. Pindell wants it. Ecker has it. They are going to be side by side. Pindell running that midline, and he is going to get that pass done and slide right up in front of Ecker.
Very nice move by Christopher Pindell late in this race. Get himself up there to a top 5 finish.
Yeah, really nice, Russ. Dennis Kane is not too far behind, as now it looks like Ecker might start to come under fire from Dennis Kane, but right now, Pindell on that high side is going to get a great run off of that turn, as we're going to pop right back up here. It looks like Andrew Teft is going to come to this line. What a fantastic drive by him. He is going to get the white flag, 0.7 of a second up on Alex Teft. Man, he has just been the car to beat tonight. He come out here on a mission, found some great pace early, saved the tires that he needed to save. Here he is, just continuing to lead this race, coming out of turn 4. Your last season champion, Andrew Teft, once again claiming victory here at Charlotte. Congratulations to that driver. Now, Alex Teft's coming home in 2nd. James McCray right there in 3rd.
Yeah. Great run all night long by Andrew Teft. Like you said, he found speed early on, qualified on the pole, and aside from the few laps after that first green flag pit stop that these guys had, or after that first round of pit stops, he was pretty much the excellence of execution here tonight at Charlotte.
Man, he really turned it up. He showed why he is your reigning champion, Andrew Teft, putting everybody in that rearview mirror, coming from the pole to pick up that win. What a fantastic job by that driver. Now we are going to see if we can stick with him because you know he is going to burn this thing down. Congratulations to that driver in the 98 machine. Now, let's see if we can hide this tower and go over here and show our official results. And there you've got it. Andrew Teft, Alex Teft, James McCray, Kirby Wayscott, Chris Pindell, Curtis Ecker, Dennis Kane, Kinsley Smith, Alex Gates, and Troy Thomas are going to round out your top 10.
Is going to bring home P11 in his debut race of the season. Great run by him tonight. Paul Shaw, Truth Hope, Brandon Sanfilippo, Gary Bowman going to round out the top 15. Aaron Marquis going to bring it home in 16th. Haas Beverly, they're going to bring it home in P17. Trevor Fettig going to bring it home in 18th. Jesse 19th, and Mike in P20.
Yeah, it does look like Rob Yost is going to take a start and park. That driver is going to ride up 21st, but that is going to do it for Charlotte Motor Speedway here on Racers Elite Network. Fantastic job by your winner there in Andrew Teft. Now, let's see if we can go back a couple laps, and we are going to slow this thing down for everybody and see if we can start talking to some of these folks. So let's see if we can see who is in the waiting room, and that is McCray there in third position. So I'm going to bring him in right now, and we're going to see if we can take care of this this interview. James, this is John and Russ here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how's it going?
Well, man, I will tell you, fantastic job. Really happy to see you back here racing. Looks like Charlotte at night. It looks like the track was really gripped up. Walk me through your race. A little incident there with Kinsley Smith, able to battle your way back here to pick up a podium. Just walk me through your race.
Yeah, I felt pretty decent for the most part up until the incident, and then I kind of pushed it too hard on the restart. Probably should have made it that extra lap that Andrew did, and but I was just too aggressive there, and that kind of cost me because I had to save in this run leading up to the finish. So.
Well, man, it was a great run by you, James. We really root for you here in the booth as we love to see you back out here racing with Racers Elite in this next gen, picking up a podium. Had a good, strong run last week at Atlanta. A couple little incidents there put you in the back, but man, this has to be a good-looking season shaping up for you. What does it feel like to be back out here running with Racers Elite, and how do you think the rest of this season is going to shape up for you?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. Feel good about the league. Feel good about my chances. There's, obviously a lot of tough guys, fast guys out here. So I hope to see what it can do and how it all shakes out. Feel pretty confident I get at least one, hopefully, for the end of this.
I think you will. And Russ and I talk because we obviously have seen you run some other leagues, and I think I might even say this every time I interview you, but I remember somebody telling a story one time that James McCray beat them in the trucks one-footed using the brake as a gas pedal. So man, we're really happy to have you back, legend. And James, we'll turn it over to you, man, and let you give your shout outs.
Yeah. Thank you, for broadcasting it. Andrew, the Tafts, and them for Tafts. Gosh, I'm getting all tied up. Them putting it on, and my girlfriend and mom out there watching, and anyone else. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, you did a heck of a job, man. Way to bring home a podium finish. James McCray, welcome back. Really glad to have you.
Thank you, John.
All right, so there was your third place driver, James McCray, and we are really glad, Russ, to have him back because he is going to make this a very interesting season.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, we've seen him run in other places, and he's always been very competitive, anywhere we've seen him. So definitely going to make some kind of a splash here in Racers Elite.
Yes, sir. All right, let's see if we can bring in your second place driver, and that is going to be the 43 machine here of Alex Teft. So let's see if we can get him here in the booth. Alex, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Rush, you want to take this one?
Man, we seen you come into this race in your typical Alex Teff fashion of coming in there and qualifying, and you started in the back, took you all a race, you worked your way up there towards the front. Man, take us back through your race, and do you think you had anything for your brother if you would have had maybe 10 or 15 more laps?
Yeah, it's just really the fuel that was the determining factor there. I think I may have been on par with him speed wise, just had to be way too conservative on that final run, being coming in one lap sooner than he did. So I was just really focusing on the getting into the corners easy and really rolling the bottom and just trying to be nice and easy, get back on the gas, just save that fuel. But throughout the race though, just mainly being patient and, like I said, just kind of wrapping the bottom as much as I could. For a little bit there, the high line came in and some people got past, but it seemed like tires get a little heated up there and you can get them back in after a few laps. But yeah, the green flag pit cycle, I had a really good cycle and gained a bunch of ground. So that's got me up to third, I think. And yeah, then that's when the fuel saving came on and just gonna get it at the end.
Yeah, that was one of the things we were talking about. We weren't really sure what a fuel run was looking like. I mean, we were following along with Curtis Ecker there right from the get go after that green flag run started, and he was clutching right from the get go, and we were like, is it really that kind of is it really that close on laps? But I mean, able to save the fuel and work your way from the back up to a P2 strong run here tonight. So man, we'll go ahead and turn it over to you and let you give any shout outs.
Thank you guys in the old Races Elite Network booth for putting on the broadcast for us. Thank Hensley, Chaos Designs. It's nice to get the old Planet Express machine on the podium every once in a while. And thank my friends and viewers that watch all the time and my fiance.
All right, man. Well, great run there tonight, and we look forward to seeing you back next week and possibly talk to you again in the top 3.
Good, thank you.
All right, so there is your second place driver. That is Alex Teff. Great drive by him. Like he said, really on par there with speed, but just really a fuel mileage game at the end. So let's see if we can talk to your winner here in Andrew Teff. Let's bring him up to the booth. Andrew, this is John and Russ in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, man, you start from the pole. Really, this is one of those races, Andrew, where I feel like you come out and you say, listen, I picked up that championship last year. Here I am. I'm still the guy to beat. You're going to have to get around me, and I'm going to do it from the pole and on fuel and on pace. The trifecta tonight. Walk me through your race.
Yeah, I had a really rough week last week, so it's nice to sort of get back on track here. I just love this track. The 600 miler that we do here every year is probably one of my favorite races, and I'd like to win one of those at some point, but I just love turning laps here. It's a lot of fun. The track's got a lot of character, and I was just sort of in my groove. I was able to even save a little gas and stay on the pace I was keeping, and Alex kind of came out of nowhere at the end there. I don't know where he came from. I thought he might have short pitted by a lot, but he said he only short pitted by like 1 lap, so yes, he was pretty quick. But I just sort of smooth sailing. Setup was great. Didn't really get too loose, too tight or anything. Just trying to keep the lefts on the paint for some extra grip and staying consistent.
Yeah, it was a great run, and we even hopped on board with you a little bit earlier. I think it might have been that first stint where, we heard you clutching going into the turns with that fuel mileage in mind, and still able to keep yourself out front. Really fantastic drive tonight. It really puts everybody on notice that you are still going to be the driver out here that they are going to have to contend with. They are going to have to beat this season, and just a fantastic drive by you here, Andrew. And we'll turn it over to you and let you give your shout outs here.
Yeah, thanks, John. First off, I want to wish my son a happy birthday. He told me earlier that I had to win today for his birthday, so glad I could pull that off for him.
Got it done.
I want to thank our team. The whole team had a really great performance tonight, so really proud of that. And I want to thank everybody that tunes in to watch, shows up to race, our servicemen and women, friends, family, and don't mind doing us a favor, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel homepage, trying to get to 500. We're getting pretty close, actually. So it's free. Everyone helps. We appreciate it. And if you want any info on the league, just head on over to racerselite.com. We just kind of revamped the website a little bit. It looks a little nicer, fresher, and you can find all the schedules, standings, Discord invites, the whole 9 yards over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about that a little bit last night. We are running 4 nights a week, and that is without the specialty events. So you go to racerselite.com, anywhere you want to know. I think, Andrew, you post quite often there on the Facebook pages with the iRacing leagues and so on and so forth. So if you want to come race with us, Andrew is the man you need to talk to. Reach out. We've got some positions open, maybe not in the trucks, right, Andrew, but maybe in Wednesday and Thursday night. We certainly have a few more spots open.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys can catch another show here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's the launch of our brand new Super Speedway series. Should be a lot of fun.
You've got it. Well, thank you very much, Andrew, and congratulations on bringing home the victory here at Charlotte.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so Russ, there you've got it, man. What a fantastic run by all of these drivers tonight. Really, Andrew Teft, Alex Teft, I mean, and James McCrae bringing home podiums, but Russ, in typical Racers Elite fashion, 1 caution, green to checker after that.
Yeah, I mean, tonight was, a complete 180 from last week. We saw these guys struggling all night long last week in Atlanta. Totally different here tonight. These guys were locked on, had no grip issues. Cooler track temp really helped out, and they put on a heck of a show. Like you said, 1 caution. See if we can take this momentum into next week. We're going to Indy next week, so we'll be running that Brickyard. And I know, it's crown jewel race. Every single driver that's going to be out there wants to win at Indy. So be excited to get there next week, and we'll see you guys then.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you, Russ. And again, we're going to say it. The best duo here on the Racers Elite Network. We're going to be back with you next week. Same time, same place. We're going to bring you another next-gen race. Russ, have a good night.